All right, welcome in to the Jordy Culotta Show live here on this Thursday, presented always by Go Chevrolet. As we come to you Thursday from the Undisclosed Location, got big news to give you here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We are on our own website now, jordyculottashow.com. Search us there, jordyculottashow.com, and you can get all of our streams. You can also, this is the big news and the big win on this Thursday, you can now close out and listen to the Jordy Culotta Show through your YouTube, on Bluetooth, wherever you may find us. You don't have to keep the video up and moving. So welcome in on this Thursday morning. Lots to get to. Was over at the Smoothie King Center last night. Pelicans nearly get a win at the end. Can't get it as Chicago hangs on heading into the All-Star break. One more for the Pelicans before the All-Star break, as they will be on Thursday night versus the I'll catch you up inside the headlines. And then Jacques Doucet's going to be here in the 7 o'clock hour. We'll talk LSU baseball as the Tigers roll 2 games yesterday. Walk-off, Trey Morgan, another freshman with a great effort. We'll talk to Jacques coming up here at 7:15 as he'll be in the Undisclosed Location. 8 o'clock this morning, we will talk to Ben Mintz. Mintzy will be here at 8 a.m. catching us up on what's happening with some of the bets going into All-Star Weekend. And then at 8:30 this morning, we'll talk to Doug Thompson, as Thompson was on the LSU call yesterday, and we'll get his thoughts on the LSU baseball squad as they're 9 games in. And all right.
It works.
How's everybody feeling?
I'm feeling amazing now that people can close out the stream and listen on their phone.
Lizzie, how you feeling over there?
I'm back, boys. Feel
sure?
great. Feeling good.
Yeah.
I was I was a little suicidal there for a couple of days, but your boy bounces back. Nothing a good night's sleep about 3 hours can't do.
So are we live on YouTube right now?
Yes.
We are live on YouTube. Tell them how to search us, Lloyd.
JordyCulottashow.com.
Yes, just go to the jordyculottashow.com.
No, go to, if you want to search on YouTube, we are still Jordy Culotta Show. But we have the chair logo now, and it's the one with 65 subscribers.
72 now.
72, but we're going to
exponential growth.
We're going to take that thing to the moon. We got some ideas in the works of how to get some more subscribers, maybe tie in a couple restaurants. Kicked the tires yesterday with my boy, my brother. So we should be able to do that.
We're not live.
Yeah, we're not live.
Here we go. We are now. We are now. It was private.
Yes, we are. It was private.
We're
up.
up.
Private.
Okay.
We're on the website. I wanted to get
Let's
that
go.
good website push, dude. You know, keep us, everybody. Get rid of that jordyculottashow.com. Got some merch over there that's going to get changed up. Everything's looking good. We're looking good.
It's actually like a legitimately big deal. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's like a Silicon Valley type moment here. We need to pop some champagne.
It was, it's been crazy times over here at the Jordy Culotta Show over the last 24, 48 hours as we told you the story about the YouTube channel vanishing, but much like life, sometimes you got to take a step back to take 2 steps forward, and I think that we did that yesterday. Jason Young has helped us out and been a tremendous help in helping us get our website launched. It's something that we've been having in the works for a couple of weeks here, and we're kind of taking our time with it and making sure that it was going to be up to standard before we rolled it out. And then yesterday, with all the YouTube stuff started happening, and we had to react, and that's what we did. And we launched the site, jordyculottashow.com, and now we have an audio and a video feed that you can access there. And like we said, the big news is that now you can close out the browser, you can minimize and close it out on your phone, on your PC, on your smart device, and you can continue to listen and keep up with what's happening here on the Jordy Culotta Show. So we're very excited about that. Make sure you spread the word, and tell a friend that we're up on our own website, and we will be continuing to update that and bring you merchandise there and bring you good selections of what's coming up, schedules and upcoming events that we can get you updated on the Jordy Culotta Show. So jordyculottashow.com is the best way to keep up with all that, and appreciate everybody for catching out the podcast yesterday. The podcasts are available to you wherever you get your podcast at, so don't forget about that option as well, that you can click on the audio from the Jordy Culotta Show in between 7 and 9 a.m. where daily we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, and we've got a brand new coffee sponsor as Metropolitan Health Group is now going to be moving over and sponsoring our phone lines, which we will talk to Ben Mintz and Doug Thompson on at 8 and 8:30 coming up. But Katie, tell me about that spaceship that got dropped off.
They brought us a machine yesterday. We got to get a shot of it soon when we get different cameras. But, I mean, it's a legit coffee machine. No more coffee grounds laying around on the floor. Jordy does not like that.
It sounds like a spaceship taking off.
Oh, man, it's got a little word to it, man.
It really does. It's amazing. Like, they really hooked us up, and they're providing our coffee. And it is, I guess you can see it.
Yeah, you can if you hold it. There you go.
Good. I mean, they have several different roasts. They roast it locally in New Orleans. It's amazing.
Majestic Coffee. The boys made the trip over yesterday to the Undisclosed Location. So shout out to those to Majestic Coffee for helping us out. The Smoothie King Center last night was fantastic. What a good atmosphere. The basketball was not good for the Pelicans as they fell 128-124. Shout out to Trey Wallbacker and Daniel Newman for hooking up the tickets last night. Great seats. The Zion dunk baseline. I had a great vantage point. Almost caught it on video. Was a click too late on the trying to catch it there. He was coming down off the rim when I saw it. The interesting news last night, if you watch the game, was that Williamson, even though 28 and 9, had 5 assists. Once the game was over, he was back in the arena putting up shots because he missed a couple of crucial free throws in the fourth quarter, as he was 8 of 16 from the free throw line last night. So just 50%, including 2 big misses in the fourth quarter over the final 12-minute stretch that ended up really kind of costing the Pelicans down towards the end. The final was a 4-point game, but throughout the night, it was never really close as the Pelicans were able to close the gap just before that game went final. But with Zion going 50% from the line last night and the 2 crucial misses late in the game, he was back out on the floor later, going into All-Star break, putting up a couple of shots, as the second-year player was talking about after the game when he was asked why did he do that, and he asked right back to the reporters, did you see the game? He was talking about the 2 crucial misses that he had in the fourth quarter with the free throws. So Zion was back in the arena even after last night's loss, putting up shots. The Pelicans will host Miami tonight for their final game before the All-Star break. As Chicago closed out their first half of the season last night with the win. It was good to see Garrett Temple last night on the floor. I mean, he still defends. Last night he drew the assignment of Brandon Ingram, and Ingram is as tough of a guard in the NBA just as far as a matchup goes. He's so long. He's kind of a Kevin Durant 2.0 as the way he's built. I mean, he can shoot outside, he can handle it, and watching Garrett defend him last night we had great seats. It really kind of just brought you back to, I mean, that was 15 years ago, nearly 16 years ago, in watching Garrett Temple and J.J. Redick go at it in the NCAA tournament, and to see both those guys on the floor last night still moving around. I mean, like, they still move. Redick never stops running.
No,
I mean, like, he's been off. And he hasn't had the sharp shooting season that he's experienced in years past. But watching him play up close, watching him play an NBA game, he never stops running. I mean, he never stops moving. And that was kind of his deal, in college was that, I mean, he was always running off screens. He was never stopped moving, and he would catch and shoot, and he could kind of catch, square his shoulders, and get off the ground. And to see him at his age and Garrett's age, the way they're moving, it was cool to be there last night. In an NBA game, I still say this, and I've had the chance to sit on an NFL field twice, at stand field level, and watch an NFL game from the field level, and it's scary, man. I mean, the sounds, the speed, the collisions. Just the rate of what the collision speeds happening is just something that is it's just scary to hear. To me, when you watch an NBA game up close, and you're able to get, we were down we were probably 8 rows up, 9 rows up last night. I mean, they still have the floor seats and, really the lower bowl kind of pushed back, but we were able to kind of have a really good vantage point. NBA players are the best athletes in the world.
They just look it too.
I mean, the way they move, just the ease in which Zach LaVine. We don't really talk about LaVine down here, and I know that there's been some trade proposals for the Pelicans that feature LaVine. He had 36 last night. He scored whenever he wanted to, but just his athleticism with the ease of which he moves out there. You don't really talk about a guy like Zach LaVine in the league, but I mean, he is just a superior athlete in the way that he is able to score whenever he wants to. I mean, he was breaking Eric Bledsoe down. They had an opportunity late in the second half or late in the second quarter to get a 2-for-1, and LaVine he abused Eric Bledsoe. Just got to the rim whenever he wanted to, and those guys are great athletes to watch up close. As we were there last night at an NBA game. So shout out to Trey Wallbacker and Daniel Newman for hooking it up, and it was a cool atmosphere and a cool time last night. Remember, check us out at jordyculottashow.com. jordyculottashow.com is the website. We've got video, we've got audio there for you to catch up with, and we're also telling you about a new sponsor here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Who can push manscaping better than me?
I mean,
has there ever been a better alignment of sponsor and show than Manscaping and the Jordy Culotta Show? In fact, if you use the promo code, they're giving a great opportunity with the promo code, a discount code right now, JC Show over at Manscaped, manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com. You will be able to save, as Manscaped's hooked me up with a bunch of tools and formulations from their Perfect Package 3.0.
How many tools and formulas do you need?
A lot. I mean, I'm looking the deodorant, the everything that goes down there. Chill out. Just keep him right there. We got a couple of house calls to make here. Remember, we're brought to you by Manscaped, and who's better to promote Manscaped than me? Nobody. They obsess over their technology, their developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer right now from the Jordy Culotta Show. 20% off plus free shipping with the discount code JCShow, all at manscaped.com. That is manscaped.com. All right, Jacques Doucet is a great friend of ours. He was over at the box yesterday. He's getting into the YouTube game over at WAFB. He's got great conversations. He's got great contacts. He started it off with two legends, with John Brady and Skip Burtman, in one of his newest projects. We'll hear a little bit about it as we walk JD into the scene here. Fresh off of an early morning run, the man looks very slim and trim.
Let's go.
As we walk him around the drum here, sit him down. That's right. Okay.
This is bringing me back to like fraternity Hazelwood.
Where are we?
Now drink. Yeah. How are you, brother? Scoot over here and grab this microphone. Put those headphones on. Get comfortable.
All right.
How you looking on time?
Oh, I'm great.
All right. Perfect.
Guys,
Perfect.
as much time as you want. I'm
Easy on that. We'll keep you here till noon.
Oh, I don't want to
all right.
thing.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing outstanding, man. It's a
Get
beautiful day
comfortable.
outside.
Yep.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was watching you guys. You were down here in the bunker, freezing, and it was just a terrible weather. But here we are, sunshine, baseball. We're heading towards March Madness. One of my favorite times of the year, without a doubt. So much fun.
A beautiful day at the box yesterday. Tigers able
great.
to get a first pitch off at 2:00 in the afternoon. A matinee with a walk-off winner, and then going into last night where they bust 4 bombs. 9 games in. I know that we were always kind of talking about, like this is the year they're going to Omaha. They got to go to Omaha or bust.
Yeah.
9 games in. This looks like a different Maneri squad. It's not a typical. They got a lot of depth at the pitching staff. They got some frontline guys. and then the athleticism around the field. Trey Morgan jumps out, Cruz jumps out, a lot of these new faces.
This is the parallel I made, and see if you go along with this. Okay, this part of the season, this is kind of the equivalent of 2 years ago LSU football team, the Georgia Southern game. The offense, just blowing it up, okay? This is as good as they can be, pretty much. But can they go to Texas, and will it hold up in the SEC against Florida? So that's what I'm kind of at right now. They're hitting the ball as well as they can hit it. It's just a matter, okay, when they get in the SEC play, is this going to continue? And the thing is, the weather's going to warm up. We know that. The ball's going to travel farther as we move in here. But you're right. Trey Morgan yesterday at first base, they threw him a ball lit at one point to stretch and catch the ball. The play on Friday he made in foul territory where he's running full speed and then reaches back and makes the catch. And, visiting with Skip Burtman, the legend, on Sunday, the first person he brought up with me was Dylan Cruz. This kid, so, the fact that he, Skip said a few years back he might have gotten $3 million, but because the draft was only 5 rounds, he comes to school and you get to see this guy for 3 years. And so you're right, the pitching. Jaden Hill coming into the year was probably the most highly acclaimed guy ever who had only won 1 game as a starter, but we know that he was going to be good, and he's been outstanding, and Marceau's going to be great, and Labus is going to be great. Fontenot's kind of had some bumps, but they're not really hitting him. It's just been some bleeders and whatnot. He'll be fine. So, and they lost the game to Air Force. They learned something. Will Helmers, we don't need to play him at third base. He's a pitcher. So, back to a Burtman thing. Lose some games early, learn some things, and move forward.
Absolutely. I mean, and even like a guy like Coleman last night, the lefty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of arms that they continue to roll out there that you say, man, I mean, if they get into a spot on a weekend, it looks like you got some depth that you're building.
Money.
I love Money.
What a great name.
Love Money.
And then you got a guy, I think Beck's got some injury issues right now, but you got a guy like Beck out there. And so, Alan Dunn has been an outstanding pitching coach for a long time, big part of their success and whatnot. And so the good news is they're loaded. The bad news is the rest of the SEC is loaded too. And so, every week the polls come out, LSU's ranked high, and then there's 3 or 4 teams in front of you. So we'll just see how it plays out. But it's always fun. Baseball is always fun. It's never boring around here. And there's of all the sports we cover, Jordy, you tell me if you agree with this. Football we know is king. It's the passion. But there's no connection between a fan base and a sport like baseball at LSU.
Especially at LSU. Like even when you travel throughout the SEC, and there are good and solid fan bases that support baseball. Mississippi State, Ole Miss jump to mind.
Arkansas has done a great job.
Arkansas has done a tremendous job, but as just the feel and the passion and really the history, I think, is what separates them. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people since the SEC network have become cachet baseball fan. Georgia and Tennessee and even Florida to a degree, as much success as they've had with that program, but LSU has been there since like 86, 84. You know what I mean? It's been passion. We had Richard Lipsey here.
Yeah.
And he spoke about like getting it off the ground and those days and how excitement was.
Yeah. Burtman said Richard Lipsey was one of the first persons he referenced when he came to town. Burtman always tells the story, first baseball game he went to, I looked around, I counted the people. There was 194, and they got in for free and there was no interest and all you heard was birds and then moving that thing forward to where it is now. People like the K-Lady and Chris Guillotte and all these people that have been there for years. I asked the K-Lady one time, why do you sit in the stands in February when it's 40 degrees, it's 9 o'clock at night, LSU's beating McNeese? And she just said it's the right thing to do. And I was like, there you go.
Thank you. We'll see you again. What has it been like to cover sports the last year? I mean, I guess you're probably one of the faces that people recognize within the Baton Rouge sports community as far as bringing that to the public. How difficult has that been for you, and what has your job been like for the last 365 days?
I miss this. I miss being able to interact with people personally. Jabril Cox came and played a whole season here, and I never spoke to him once. I never shook his hand. I never, we had a few coaches that came and went. The one thing about, covering sports is the chance the small chat you have with a guy when he's walking to sit down. Hey, man, how you doing? And he'll joke about a class he's taking that's kicking his butt, or, his high school team is doing well or something like that. Those are little things that kind of add up to covering a team in the long run. I just got tired of sitting at a computer and clicking an unmute button all year long and that kind of thing. So you kind of lose that personable interaction with the team. You'd leave the stadium, you see Steve Ensminger and the guys having a couple beers after the game. Hey, Coach, how you doing? There was none of that all year long. And one video I shot this year was depressing. Was me and Darren DeQuano, our great videographer, who shoots all the LSU games with me. We drove down Nicholson Drive the day of the LSU-Alabama game. We could have drag raced. There was nobody on the highway. There was nobody on the campus. I could have shot a shotgun and not his soul. So it was depressing. I made all the road trips except for one, and every city I went into, they were like, man, LSU's in town. This should be different, you know? And so that was kind of the whole year in a nutshell.
Do you anticipate that changing? It feels like it's changing, right?
I think John Bell's announcement, our governor's announcement this week that we're opening up to 50%. I don't want to get into politics, but Texas is going full throttle. Mississippi's going full throttle as far as opening up. And, we sat down with Scott Woodward early February, and he said he's approaching the season full throttle. And I asked him, I said, September the 11th, McNeese, is it crazy to think 102,000? He said, not at all. So, I don't think that they can, and then financially, they can't do this again. They got to start getting some money in the bank account, and a lot of those season ticket holders, they collected that money and then they deferred to next year. I think we missed out on a lot. I think this year Jordy has taught us to be thankful for what we have. Don't get greedy, but man, we missed out on a home game against Texas. We missed out on a packed Tiger Stadium against Alabama. We missed out on a lot of things this year.
Yeah, we did. Jacques Doucet joining us here inside of the Undisclosed Location. LSU football. Get back to work here in a couple of weeks. Is spring practice, fourth quarter program happening right now. You mentioned last season, and it was kind of wild, right? I mean, 5-5 with a slow start and a start that looked like, man, this thing is going to be off the rails to a game that ended in Tiger Stadium with a freshman in Keishawn Butte setting a career record and a program record for receiving yards, and a lot of bright spots to look forward to in the offseason. Some coaching changes, some roster replenishment, and now back on the field in spring. What's your anticipation for O and the crew in year 5?
Miles Brennan, is he playing tight end this year or what?
My man, got thick.
Man.
The pictures I've been seeing of, it's like, wow.
The thick. But we were talking about it yesterday. Remember the problem that he was battling when he got here? They were like waking him up at midnight and telling him to eat gallons of ice cream and pizza so he could keep weight on the next day. And now, with the injury he had last season, he was immobile.
Yeah.
He couldn't really move, and it looks like, he packed on that pandemic pounds.
50.
Yeah, right.
The injury just bizarre, Jordy.
Yeah.
That was the one game I got to be on the sideline and shoot this year, and it happened right in front of me. And he got hit. I'm like, ooh, that's a bad hit. Mm-hmm. Then he popped up. He ran back to the huddle. He played the entire game, the rest of the game. That was October the 10th, I believe. And then it was like, well, is he okay? Is he having surgery? What's going on? And so is he okay? Can he go forward? I guess. I don't know, but that's going to be very interesting. A lot of times we joke about spring football is not very exciting. It's boring or this and that. I can't wait to get out there. Hopefully we can get out there and see between the coaches, all the new coaches, the quarterback battle, and just you hear about. We just visited, I just visited a few guys that are going to LSU, and they talk about a new attitude, a new feeling around the building, a chip back on the shoulder after 2019. So we'll see. It'll be. I can't wait. For years we've been counting down to this game at the Rose Bowl. Fans, but I can't wait to go to the Rose Bowl. So hopefully, California doesn't screw this up and we can play the game and it's all good.
That would be fantastic, man. What a great opportunity to see LSU's colors on the West Coast. Something that I think this fan base has been really looking forward to. For as much success that LSU has experienced in football since 2000, never to be out west for a Rose Bowl game or any type of big time matchup, I really think kind of keeps, that's one thing that the fan base is looking forward to this offseason. You had a great sit down with Scott Woodward that I want to get to your projects and what you have going on over at WAFB's YouTube site, because I think it's very exciting. You and I have talked about some of these types of things, and you've got a great Rolodex of relationships that you can sit down and have these long-form conversations that through the first couple of weeks have been tremendous. But there was one with Woodward that stood out about a month ago, probably about 5 weeks ago, where he was speaking about a lot of the stuff that was on the horizon for LSU. Now, a lot of that stuff is going to come out tomorrow with the Hush Blackwell investigation that's going to come full circle and be handed down to the Board of Supervisors tomorrow. What was that conversation like with Woodward? What did you learn there? Because I thought it was very in-depth. Rarely do you see him speak in-depth on topics like you had him that day. Just very relaxed in his office, talking about everything from last season's football, bounce back or last year's national championship to the 2020 season to the Darius Geis situation. I mean, he was speaking about a lot of stuff. The USA Today, not specifically Geis, but the USA Today stuff.
Yeah, Jordy. I mean, I kind of did that on a whim on Monday. I was like, what can we do this week? I'm sending an email to Scott Woodward's person, see if he'll talk, and he did. I sent the questions in advance, which I thought was a great way to do it. Yeah. And I was waiting for a reply back saying, Scott doesn't want to talk about this. Scott doesn't want to talk about that. I got none of that. Every single question I sent in, he addressed, which then I got greedy on. Oh, well, we should have asked this and that, Right. So, should ask about a drug policy across the SEC. Should everybody have the same drug policy? Because a lot of people feel like LSU's at a competitive disadvantage. Their drug policy's too stern or whatever. But yeah, I mean, he said Verge Alsbury was in great standing. Verge was fine. I asked him point blank, could this affect Ed Ogeron's future at LSU? He kind of scoffed that off. Oh, absolutely not. The things happened in the past. We're going to correct them. We're going to move forward. So the fact that he addressed both of those things was pretty, I thought that was big. And, he says that he's appalled by some of the things he's heard. And but he said he's a very optimistic person, wants to correct them, wants to move forward. And I think that's what they're going to do. Tomorrow's D-Day. I mean, tomorrow, we've been counting down to this for a while. The Les Miles report, things that have come out about that. And it's a tough situation. I don't know how adults sometimes manage what goes on between 18 to 22-year-olds, midnight and after. But, if people received information and swept it under the rug, then obviously that has to be, addressed. Yeah,
it's going to be, I'd imagine that there are going to be some sleepless, there are going to be some people with some sleepless nights here, or has been, and leading up to tomorrow as that announcement is going to be made at the LSU Board of Supervisors meeting coming up on Friday. What do you think the biggest challenge is for Woodward right now? Because it seems like there's sections of challenges that run a little deeper than others. What are you looking at from his vantage point that you say, "Oof, that looks like a tough spot"?
There's three things, right? I mean, there's this Hush Blackwell thing. There's the John Paul Funes, Our Lady of the Lake, the money, they put the self-imposed bowl ban on them. They didn't go to a bowl game this year, but is that over with? I mean, and then the Will Wade thing, which it's crazy. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary.
Which was the only thing
he didn't talk
that
about.
He was, Jacques, I can't go there.
Right.
I mean, and you kind of, you needled him a little bit, and he was like, Jacques, I can't go there.
Yeah. I said, is this awkward? The whole thing, is it awkward? Because I don't even know what it is. I'm not disagreeing with you, but once again, I can't.
Right. It was very it looked like he was looking at a lawyer over your shoulder in the sense of, and they were like, just don't say anything. And he was like, Jacques, I just can't go there, man.
Yeah. NCAA investigations, we can't speak on that. Right. That was like, I don't know, were you there that day? It was when, Coach Wade speaks at LaBerge every once a month.
Yeah. The Tuesday tip off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like a scene out of like Scandal or one of these movies where news breaks on the phone and everyone's like looking at their phone and looking up at the person who's involved.
Right.
And Will Wade was talking that day.
That's right.
And everyone starts looking down at this USA Today report about the FBI wiretap or whatever. We interview him afterwards. He kind of, says what he can say. And then he vanished. I didn't see the guy for 40 days or something. And then so you're covering the team at the NCAA tournament. You go to Jacksonville. They win. They beat Yale and then they beat NC State. They're going to the Sweet 16. Tony Bedford's coaching. There's showing up at the press conferences. Everybody, all the national people are like asking me, like, this is all going to get voided anyway, right? And so I didn't think Will Wade was going to coach another game And here he is still coaching and, doing a great job. It's crazy to think, Jordy, he has not coached an NCAA game.
He hadn't coached in March.
At LSU.
It's unbelievable.
Right, March, yeah. As great at, they won the SEC 2 years ago, and he has never coached at a games. I drove to Nashville last year for the SEC tournament, turned around, drove back. No games, end of the year. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I really don't.
What do you think about his team right now?
Well, why does Trendon Watford have to dribble? That's the one thing. It's like we got Javonte. We got Cameron Thomas.
Even Jalen Cooks looked good over the last couple of games.
Yeah. Jalen Cook. It's funny, they honored the 1980 Final Four team. I was like, well, we got a new cookie man here, because right. he gave a nice boost at the end of the first half there. I don't understand, sometimes when I was on the basketball team in my very poor career, I'd get the ball and try to dribble. Jacques, get the ball to the guard. Get the ball to the people who handle the ball. And I don't know why Trendon Watford has to handle the ball. And more times than not, it seems like this is a turnover. It's a bad shot. He's a good player. I'm not trying to bag on the guy. I just think the other guy should handle the ball. But yeah, they're so Jekyll and Hyde, Jordy. I mean, a week ago they score 104 points against Auburn. Most points they've scored in a regulation SEC game in 30 years, basically, since Shaq's last year. And then they go to Georgia and look like Johnny Jones' last team here. And then, Arkansas, they played pretty well in the first half, and the second half just spiraled out of control. So I don't know. You're defined by what you do in the NCAA tournament. If they win 2 games in the tournament, it'll be a success. It'll be a great year. So,
it's going to be interesting to see how this team closes the year, and then on the heels of what comes out with that investigation, not so much what happens tomorrow with the LSU basketball program with the Hush Blackwell stuff, but overall the NCAA stuff and how that will have an effect on the future of what that looks like. Tell us what you have going on over at WFB's YouTube channel, because you and I spoke about 5 weeks ago when we were starting to transition, and you were actually celebrating an Emmy that day that I showed up. But by the way, congratulations! I know that you've been in the business for a long time, and it's not about the awards and the attention, but it is always good at some points to be recognized, and that's a hell of a recognition.
Well, I appreciate it. It wasn't like a Seinfeld Emmy. Right. They're like that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like a
Entourage. Yeah, right.
It's a regional thing, but 4 people: Darren DeQuano, Matt Houston, our news reporter, huge LSU fan as well, did an outstanding story on Joe Burrow. It was a half-hour live special. We went up against Miami and Tampa and some big markets, and we got an Emmy. So it took me to get to my 40s to win an Emmy. We got people at the station on the morning show like 25. They got one, But no, it's outstanding, and looks good. It's good to have one of those. It's cool. Right. So, and then I just made 20 years at Channel 9, which is kind of astounding. So yeah, it's a couple nice milestones. But yeah, I mean, Channel 9. I mean, when I talked to John Brady the other day, John Brady said LSU changed my life, and Channel 9 really changed my life. It gave me the opportunity to really witness the golden era of Louisiana sports from a front row perspective. 3 national championships in football, playing for another, going to the 2006 Final Four, the women's basketball team going to 5 straight Final Fours, national championship in baseball, seeing the Saints go through their best era ever. We didn't have an NBA team when I first got here. We got the Hornets, now the Pelicans. So I've been blessed. It's great.
So you are featuring your long-form interviews now, or long-form conversations is what they seem like. That Brady conversation was fantastic.
It's great,
So you're just going to do this on YouTube once a week?
Yeah, it's pretty much what I was doing during the pandemic when there was nothing to cover. Just getting in touch with former LSU guys and having a conversation, B-rolling it with footage and putting it out there for fans to enjoy, And then the first one I did was with John Brady. When I first got here, Jordy, the 3 big coaches were Skip Bertman, Nick Saban, and John Brady, which was a combination of terrifying, intimidating, and whatever. I'm going to these John Brady and Nick Saban press conferences, and I thought this was going to be fun.
Tell the story about when you took Saban's parking spot that day.
Spring.
This was fantastic.
What a mistake!
Young Jacques,
a very young Jacques.
It's going down, young Jacques.
Still kind of feeling himself. You know what I mean? I'm gonna look at that open spot right there.
Yeah.
Let me park it right here.
Somebody get the camera.
It was a Saturday in like March or something. Spring was going on. Nick Saban had a noon or 1 o'clock spring football press conference in the old Lawton Room at Tiger Stadium. Yeah. I had gone to the LSU softball game at the old Tiger Park, gotten enough highlights to get out of there, get on time. I pull up and the spot said, reserved for LSU faculty. That's what it said. I'm like, it's Saturday. There's no class going on. I'm good. Pulled in the spot, set up the tripod, get the camera, get the mic on the podium. Boom, I'm good. Beat Saban here. So one of the little sports information guys, he comes in, he's like, Jacques, you are parked in Coach Saban's spot. I'm like, oh, God, you got to be kidding me. So I run outside, and there's a silver Mercedes-Benz parked up on the curve. I see Coach Saban slam the door shut. I see Michael Bonnet, the sports information director, look at me and shake his head like this. Saban marches up. I said, Coach, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that was your spot. That's okay. We'll just tow it next time. And he keeps walking. He just walks right past me. He gets in there, and I'm thinking to myself, God, I hope he doesn't say anything about this when he gets to the podium. I hope he doesn't say anything about it. He gets up on the podium. I tell you what, guys, if we coach the way you park, we're not going to win a game this year.
It's the first thing on his mind.
So good. Did you give Brady any impersonations off air? I mean, I'd love for you and I to be able to do a show, but we would lose all of our sponsorships.
Yeah, that was I did Brady impersonations to him. Right. I remember the first time I met John Brady. Josh Maravich walked onto the basketball team. I got sent down the street to get a soundbite with Coach Brady. And as you said, younger, you're full of yourself, and you really don't know anything
at all.
Right. You think, I'm on TV.
That's exactly right.
So you go down there and say, Coach, I'm Jacques Doucet from and he kind of looked at me like, I've seen you before. That's the first time I met him. I called him one time. I lost track of time. I called him one night on his cell phone after they played UNO. He's like, you call Nick Saban on his cell phone at 11 o'clock at night? It's like, well, I don't have Nick Saban's cell phone, but, just so many great memories. And, the Final Four. To this day, highlight of my life and my career. I'm getting paid to go watch LSU beat Duke. And 30,000 people in the Georgia Dome and, all these Duke fans, we're going to win. We're going to beat this football school or whatever. And, all these kids, all these guys we covered, Tyrus, Big Baby. Big Baby in high school was 300 and how much do you think he weighed?
He probably weighed 330. I still remember the time out in University High's courtyard right there where Shaq went and met him and asked him to wrestle. Remember, and he wrestled Big Baby like in 10th grade. And Glenn has this personality. He's very sensitive. He's like, I don't want to wrestle you, man. He's like, I don't want to wrestle you, man. And Shaq was like trying to toughen him up, and he put his hands on him. And I remember Shaq saying, "Oh, okay, all right, big boy." Like, I mean, he was probably about 330 his junior year at University High.
I remember people saying, "This guy's never going to make it. He can't get up and down the floor." But anyway, I just tell you this real quick. So, for whatever reason, Channel 9 was the only station that went to the NCAA tournament from Louisiana. And the NCAA rule was if you don't cover the first two rounds, you can't go cover after that. So for whatever reason, I'm the only guy there. And Brady starts picking up on this. And this is about the time where Brady kind of starts softening up and being, more kind. Right. And so the night he's playing Duke, this is the biggest game of his life. This is as big a basketball game can be. You're playing Duke, the number one seed in the tournament. Like I said, 30,000 people. And he walks into the Georgia Dome, and I'm there, like, shooting the team arrive, and he goes, "Hey, man, this is a Channel 9 exclusive. You got an exclusive on chat, just as loose as can be, as nice and friendly." And I was like, wow, And so, and when they went to the Final Four, I'm just saying, this happened. So we're interviewing Brady. They just beat Texas, and Brady goes, and by the way, you're the only channel I've seen since I've been here, Channel 9 exclusive. So certainly the promotion team grabbed that immediately.
Hell yeah.
Only WAFB was there, blah, 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 blah. And so, and somebody in a high place, I'm not going to say who, called about 2 days later and said, that spot, you got to get that off the air. You can't run it. I was so mad. I was burning up. I mean, I'm not going to pat myself on the back,
I can
but
relate.
we deserve that.
Absolutely. Well, that was the press conference the next year when didn't he show up or when he showed up to the post game and he told you, and I know that you would never say this and he's a friend of ours, but he said, "Oh, look, Jacques, Michael's here. Old Cobble's here. We're either getting fired or we're doing something right." When he talked about seeing Channel 2 there. So it was great. Have you seen a transformation?
And by the way, me and Cobble
are great. I know, and I know he didn't want to tell that part of the story.
Some
and
people
I would.
think it's like it's the movie
Anchorman.
Yeah, like
Right.
we're meeting under the so we compete, and
I saw Cobble and Doucet eating lunch together. I thought they hated each other.
but
have you seen a transformation like Brady?
And Berkman in our interview the other day, he told me, he said, if John was the way he was now, then he'd still be the coach. Or, maturity. And Brady even told me, and I can relate to this. You'll be Dr. Phil today for me. So, when I got here, I was following up Victor Howe, who was very, very popular, news sports guy, did an awesome job, still does, And so when I first got here, I had to hear, you're not as good as Victor Howe, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So when Brady had the same thing kind of going on. You're not Dale Brown, and he admitted he was insecure about that. He was 42 years old when he got the job. He told me that he was way too combative with the media. He should have been more. And Berkman even told me he hired somebody to work with Brady at press conferences. And you can't say that, John. You can't do that. Right. But John Brady was a very, very good basketball coach. Stress defense, stress rebounding, stress toughness. And
couldn't you argue up until Wade they've still been looking for his replacement?
Well, here's the deal, right? Okay, the Final Four year, they won 4 games in the tournament. They've won 3 since then in the last 15 years.
2 were with his team.
Right. One
with Trent Johnson. Trent sent him a ring for that 09 SEC team.
That's right. Another funny Brady line. He goes, I designed a practice facility that I never practiced in. So, but he goes, you ought to go down to the dungeon and you'll appreciate, back in the day, the dungeon. But no, John Brady is great. He's enjoying his life. Yeah. He's retired. He's got 2 beautiful daughters. He's out on a boat in Destin. Yeah. Jerry DiNardo, the former LSU football coach, he lives down in Destin. They hang out. So and he works hard at this broadcasting thing. I get to the PMAC 2 hours before the game. He's down there. He's the only person there in the arena.
I say in our industry, in our medium broadcast, I would put color commentating basketball on the radio as maybe a top 3 most difficult job in our entire profession, because you have to paint a picture inside of a 5-second window of what's going on, and he does that tremendously, and it works because of the chemistry that him and Blair have. But his responsibility of just painting a picture within a small window of what's happening in very active entertainment, he's tremendous at that.
Yeah, you got to stick and move.
Yeah,
you got to get in, you got to get out, and Chris Blair loves him, working with him. And I asked Will Wade the other day about John Brady, and it was the best answer he gave us at that press conference.
It was.
He went on for like 2 minutes about John Brady, and we lost to Houston the year we went to the Sweet 16
when they flew to Vegas.
Yeah, and he was on the plane with me, helping me out and telling me stuff. And I wish John Brady would talk to me more because he knows so much. But Brady is Brady's smart. He knows, look, I'm an ex-coach. I don't want anyone thinking that I know more than the current head coach. And actually, Will Wade, it's the opposite. No, talk to me more. Text me more. Call me more. So that's great. He's outstanding. And the former players, one of the funniest press conferences after they beat Duke, Daryl Mitchell sitting up there, he goes, "But when I first got to LSU, Coach Brady was one tough cookie." and he's like, "We love Coach Brady now." Yeah. Coach Brady goes, "Man, somebody passed me a hanky up here. I'm getting emotional."
It was incredible the way that he's kind of transformed, and even through his late teams, to see that. You do such a tremendous job in our market of keeping this community up with what's going on with the New Orleans Saints. I think you have really done a tremendous job of kind of separating yourself. When I think of New Orleans Saints coverage in Baton Rouge, I think of you going down there in June and July covering, minicamp.
Appreciate it.
What do you make of Drew Brees' now? It looks like that's over, and a turnover, and what possibly could maybe be Russell Wilson next.
Yeah, I always think of Charles Barkley one time said, "Here's my plan, right? I'm going to have one more good year, and I'm going to retire. But here's the problem. I don't have any more good years left, And I think they squeezed about all they could squeeze out of Drew at this point. I think Drew Brees can go out there and start next year and lead them to a good record and win some games in September and October. Here's the problem. What's he going to be like in January? And that's, I think, kind of been the problem over the last couple of years. And look, it was sad. Look, he was broken up on the inside between the ribs and the foot and the shoulder and all that. And, I wish he would. I wish Jared Cook wouldn't have fumbled the ball against Tampa. My goodness, they should have won that game. Do they go to Green Bay and win? I don't know. But it's an interesting situation.
The what ifs for him over the last 3 years of his career. I mean, if he doesn't miss the Mike Thomas slant before the Nolan no call against St. Louis, against Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The what ifs he could play over the last just 3 years, I'd imagine is almost a form of torture to somebody like him.
Did he play great against the Rams? He was not great against the Rams. He was not great against the Vikings and the one they lost in overtime at home.
Right.
But you can't blame him for the game they lost at San Francisco. You can't blame him for the Minnesota Miracle. The Minnesota Miracle on a 4th and 10, Drew Brees hits Willie Snead on an out route to set up what should have been the game-winning field goal. The Marshawn Lynch beast mode, you can't blame him for that game. I mean, so a lot of people say, Drew Brees doesn't do well in the postseason. Lately, he hasn't played his best, but certainly he's deserved more than one Super Bowl. So I do not want to get into politics. I think it is a bad look when the mayor of a city, after what Drew Brees has done for the city and everything, goes out and tries to poach the quarterback of Seattle when Drew Brees hasn't even retired yet. What is that? But it's been a great run. Drew Brees has been a public relations Jedi. I mean, he has said everything the right way. He's done everything the right way. The national anthem thing last summer I thought was very unfortunate for a lot of different reasons. I think a lot of people overreacted to that on both sides. Drew Brees is a good person. He's a good man. Brandon Landry interviewing him, telling me about Drew Brees told Brandon Landry after they got screwed against the Rams. He goes, you know what? I can't impact that guy throwing the flag. But you might remember the play after that. I had Michael Thomas on a slant right across the middle. Mm-hmm. I hit him 99 out of 100 times. I threw it at his foot. I should have hit that pass. We're 1st and goal. We win the game. No one talks about the no call. Yeah. And so that's who Drew Brees is.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, just the philanthropy that he's done for our region, our state, the city of New Orleans.
And somebody wants to catch him doing something wrong.
Sure.
Everyone's got a cell phone these days, whatever. Here's Drew Brees doing whatever. It's never happened.
No. and just the football he's given New Orleans has been, it's been the golden era of the New Orleans Saints and Sean Payton. I mean, how long do you think that Payton has? Because he's now one of the, you rarely see coaches in today's age, both professionally and college, stick around for more than a decade. I mean, he's been here for nearly 18 years.
He was 42 when he got the job, so he's 58, I think, 57, whatever, right now. I certainly think he can coach another decade or whatever if he wants to. The thing has always been, is he going to go to Dallas? That was always, Dallas, big, sexy job, Cowboys, America's team, blah, blah, blah. After he's done all he can do in New Orleans, does he go? But look, I'm just going to say this. A lot of people, it's how you look at things, right? And not to try to be smarter than what I am, but, Theodore Roosevelt, comparison is the thief of joy. And so we've lived the greatest era of both LSU and the Saints over the last 15, 20 years. And we can say, well, look what Alabama did and look what the Patriots did. But, you can say the Saints only won one Super Bowl. But when you've gone to that Superdome the last 15 years, 9 out of 10 times you're leaving happy. And the Saints are always winning. You're always in the playoff hunt. You're going to the playoffs. And it's been, teams that went into that dome just got their butts kicked a lot. So it's been fun. This has been very cool. This has been fun. I enjoy it,
catch up with you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's coming up on WAFB? Tell me how you're formatting this thing. Do you have a schedule when you will launch things or when you will drop things each week? How's this work?
We're doing it's basically what I did during the pandemic. Now we're calling a podcast. I'm just interviewing somebody for 30, 40 minutes. The first one was John Brady. The second one we put up yesterday was Skip Burtman. This morning, I'll tell you, we're going out to chat with Marcus Thornton this morning. Yeah, hadn't talked to Marcus in a while, so going to talk to him.
Living in Baton Rouge, huh?
I think so. Yeah, we're going to meet him on a playground.
Nice.
This morning. So yeah, we're going to do that every week. I'm going to try to talk to LSU guys about their careers. One thing, one of my few talents is I can remember stuff. Yeah. And so I can remember games and plays and talk to them about those things. And so
Jacques and I, we kind of pride ourselves on our interviews and the people that we talk to.
Well, by the way, you yesterday in this independent thing. You were interviewing Dave Aranda. You're interviewing Frank Wilson.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Tuesday.
A couple days ago. I mean, Will Wade stops by here. I mean, your guests have been, amazing.
Thank you.
And and your former workers, they the guy does the show 3 to 6. He definitely said, of all the guys in this building, nobody works harder, no one busts their butt harder than Jordy Culotta to get interviews.
I appreciate that.
So there you go.
I've always appreciated that, and for him saying that. And
both of our heroes is Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. So there you go.
Salute to the former CJ and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf right here. Also Tommy Hodson.
Yes.
Who you have been in this market, the only person to get a conversation with Tommy Hodson. And I know that Tommy would probably hear this and he's probably cringing because he's not a public guy. He doesn't like to speak. He doesn't really like to relive the glory days and talk about his time at LSU. But the fact of the matter is, and I've tried to sell him on interviews on this, is that you are the best quarterback in LSU football history, arguably. A lot of people, generations of people, at least would like to just hear your point of view of the Auburn game, or your point of view of Harvey Williams and Wendell Davis, or just that part of your life. And he just does not want to do it. I mean, I have pleaded with him, begged with him, and he is just, it is a hard no. You have gotten conversations with him because I think, a lot of that is about relationships, but, that's just one example of, I think, somebody that has said, I'm not doing it, but you're able to open him up and make him comfortable.
Well, Jordy, here's the deal. 1998, I was doing a public access show in Lafayette on Acadiana Open Channel, AOC, not the politician. And so I tracked down Tommy Hodson and told him, look, you're my childhood hero. Yeah. First LSU games I ever went to, blah, blah. And he came on the show that time. Tommy gives me one interview a year.
Is it the Bama week?
Typically, we wait till Bama.
Yeah.
And to your point, before the Alabama game that LSU won in Tuscaloosa, he pretty much laid out the whole thing before it happened.
Right.
He's like, I feel like we can win this game because we can score. If Bama scores, we can score. And, we can match anybody point for point in the country with the final score 46-41. And he broke down different things about the game. But you're right. For the guy who threw for 9,000 yards in his career, and I often joke that his career gets minimized for one touchdown pass he threw to Eddie Fuller against Auburn in 1988, which is a legendary moment. But
so many more moments.
Yeah, he won. He was he was a great quarterback.
Right.
And so he just he in a society where everyone is full of themselves, and he is the exact opposite. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to do that kind of stuff. And
he is the definition of head down, go to work guy. Like he is just very off the radar. I mean, he's just very kind of hard work. He just does his job. You know what I mean? I referee Catholic League basketball here in town and have for a decade, and he coached St. Jude for a 4 or 5 year run where they were dominant. I mean, they were so well coached, and he would just sit on. He had like a Phil Jackson type, like stoic persona to him, where he would just sit there and almost whistle, and they would turn their head, and he would coach him. I mean, he was just very. Because I have that same feeling about him.
Yeah.
When I think of my childhood, I see 13 in purple and gold.
Wendell Davis.
Yeah, Harvey Williams, Sammy Martin.
Right.
I mean, that whole generation.
Tony Moss. And one thing about, he was kind of Joe Burrow before Joe Burrow because women loved him.
Yeah.
Good-looking guy.
Sure.
I mean, I remember being in class.
Well, everything he did, he was great at. Right? Like he was a great basketball player. He was a great football player. He was great at school. He was good looking. He was nice. He was
tough.
Tough.
Bit through his tongue at Kentucky, stayed in the game. He told me one time, he goes, I think it's embarrassing if you lay on the ground. If you get hit and you lay on the ground, that's embarrassing. And so the Auburn game, God bless his soul, Ruffin Roderick, talked to him during the pandemic. He goes, that is the guttiest performance I have ever seen from a quarterback ever. Yeah. Auburn kicked his tail
Tracy
the whole
Rocker
game.
Killed him that night.
Yeah. I mean, Tommy's weighing 190 pounds or whatever, getting smashed by these guys, and he somehow led them down the field against what Ruffin told me was the best defense I have ever seen.
That Auburn team that night was incredible. Jacques, I think people have tried to imitate Red, Rock, and Blue. People have tried to bring that to their community. People have tried to, even in this community, try to do some form of it. That charitable event, it's had to have blown your mind where you are now. Did it start in a backyard in Lafayette in the early 90s?
Yeah, it was fresh off the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. So we built this we built this makeshift softball park in my parents' Maurice, Louisiana. We'd have a tournament once a year. We'd have 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah.
Long story short, we were like, man, we're at Pelican Park in Karen Crow now, And so we get like 10, 15, and now we've got like 90 teams that come and play every year. And then the celebrity game we do is just to take off the old, for those of you who remember MTV when they would play videos. Yeah, the Rock and Jock softball, play a fun game. And then, I love music and stuff. And so we've done a lot of concerts at the varsity and stuff like that. And so we're not a huge organization. I mean, we give $50,000 a year, $60,000 maybe a year. We're not like the best dressed ball or whatever. We're a blue collar organization selling nachos and hot dogs and stuff. But yeah, it's been very rewarding, and the cause for the military, I think it's something that everybody can get behind. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, that there's somebody in a desert somewhere who's protecting our freedom, and so that's what makes it worthwhile.
What is the future of that event? I know that the last year has had to put that some adverse situations around how you format and how you fundraise and how you get teams and interest around that. What is the future of that event?
Well, first off, I feel bad. I feel bad for our local musicians. We got one sitting right here on the floor here, that they can't go out and play. They haven't been able to go out and play. The varsity has been closed since March 12th. The Texas Club, all these places that make a living off of live music and all this stuff. And so I think we're coming out of it, hopefully. But concerts are going to be a challenge. But the tournament, we did the tournament last year in the middle of the pandemic, and we're going to do it again this summer. And we've got great sponsors and people who give money. Our girl Judy Smart over at Roadrunner, she's been amazing to us over the years.
The best.
The
best.
Oh, baby, I'll get you your check, no problem.
Jordy, come see me. Come see me. You call her at midnight. You call her any time of the night. She'll answer the phone.
Yeah.
My first sale in advertising was Judy Smart.
Is that right?
First sale in advertising. I was probably 20. You want to talk about don't know anything. Probably about 28, 27 years old. Walked in there and said, "This is what I got. You got to buy it, right?"
Yeah. And
just
to love those people and to know what they do for a living, which I know they got to upset some people during the day.
Sure.
I love them a lot more than that one underneath the bridge over by the pastime.
Oh, you're talking about on River Road?
Yes.
Oh, my God. What a racket.
They stuck me good one night.
Yes.
I parked at the McDonald's right there next to the Pluckers on Nicholson. You know what I'm talking about?
Right in front of Southgate Towers.
Right. Yeah. Midnight, the parking lot is empty. There's nobody there. I park in the McDonald's parking lot. I come out of Pluckers, my car is gone. They towed me. They go around looking. Hey, they went into McDonald's. Hey, is that car one of you guys? No, it's not. Okay. Boop. Towed me. You go there. Hey,
you got to wake them up out of the trailer.
Here's my debit card. Oh, no, we take cash only. So I got to walk to the casino, to the ATM, come back. Oh, no, we take exact change only. At this point, I'm just like, but anyway, so.
JD, it's great to see you, man.
All right, great. Thanks for having me. Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on this awesome room here. We got a disco ball over here.
Yes. And party in the back. Party in the back.
Pete, Tasman.
Right.
And there's a lady at my gym by the name of Mary Alford. You know Mary?
Yes, I know Mary Alford.
Every morning she works out. She's wearing Jordy Culotta t-shirt or sweatshirt or whatever.
Wow.
So,
thank you, Mary Alford. I appreciate that very much. Great to see you, JD.
Okay. Thank you, Jordy.
Absolutely. There is Jacques Doucet stopping in with us. When we come back, we will lead off the 8 o'clock hour. We'll talk to Ben Mintz. We'll talk to Mintzy up at Barstool Sports about some of the things that's happening this weekend as far as the gambling goes. Don't forget, Daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders. Get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois today at RMB Builders at 921-7062 or online at rmb-builders.com. He can custom home build you a house. He can help you remodel. He can help you with commercial construction as well, and he brings you our podcast. If you missed that conversation with JD, the entire hour will be up on the podcast today, brought to you by RMB Builders. We'll be back with Ben Mintz right here on the Jordy Culotta Show, powered by Go Chevrolet. Hey, it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, Give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers. All over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Daily brought to you by Red Stick Sports. Remember, online at redsticksports.com. They are your headquarters for all things sports. Been serving Baton Rouge since 1981. Red Stick Sports has a 6,200 square foot facility that they specialize in custom team and corporate apparel that they can help you out with. Remember, they are doing our merchandise store that you can find.
Jordy.itemorder.com is where you can cop the merch.
Or just go to jordyculottashhow.com. Find it there, too.
JordyCulottaShow.com is up and active. That is our website. You can stream there. We have been we tried it out and tested it this morning. You should be able to minimize and close it out on your PC, smart device, wherever you are, and keep up with the audio. If you're listening to us this morning, new YouTube site has been tied into the Facebook and to the Twitter post this morning. So if you're looking for the new YouTube page, get over there to Twitter and check it out. Appreciate Jacques Doucet for stopping by here for an hour.
He was great.
And sitting in. Yeah, that was a good conversation with Jacques over at WAFB. Make sure you are subscribed and you're on for the WAFB YouTube page, because Jacques will be bringing you daily conversations. So that'll be cool to keep up with what Jacques and WAFB have going on. Up in New York City, our guy Barstool Mintzy is getting set for the springtime up in New York, as it feels like the weather is starting to change in that part of the country. Mintzy, how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great, and I want to thank. I got a little package from Red Stick Sports in the mail up at Barstool a couple days ago with the Jordy Culotta Show gear myself. I appreciate it.
Nice indeed. I love to hear that, man. Did Playboy Marty get his? He
hoodie? Did, but he was rocking. He was rocking it in the office today.
I love it. I love it, Mintzy. All right, so tell me what's going up in New York City, man. How's the weather up there?
Man, I got to be honest. I mean, you're following it, dude. I'm trying to stop and enjoy every minute of this, because I am on fire right now.
Let's go, Mintz.
It's one of these things that it's like every aspect of life. I don't know. It's like crazy and surreal, because a lot's gone into it for a lot of time to get to this point. But, man, I've been hosting Pick Central. We have a show on YouTube as well, the Barstool Sports YouTube, from 11:55, well, I guess 10:55 Central to 11:55 called Pick Central every day. It's a daily gambling show. But Brandon Walker's usually the host of it, but he's out all week. He better be careful because he's about to get Wally tipped on the show.
Let's go, man.
Wally
Pips. Let's go. Won't be the first time Mintzy's taking his gig. Am I right? Were you 3-0 last night?
Oh, 7-2 last night.
My bad, buddy. My bad. NBD.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious, Jordy. So the gambling thing cracked me up because it's just so funny how you're just like only as good or as bad as your like last week or two. I was just getting just destroyed a couple of weeks ago in basketball, and now there's people like tailgating on my Twitter for my picks. I've been so hot the last 10 or 12 days.
College or
like
NBA?
NBA's been good too, man. I've been doing good. Been doing good on college and NBA. I've been hitting these Pelicans overs, which are now 22-2 in their last 24. I mean, it's like a Joe DiMaggio like streak is what Scott Kushner said, which I thought was funny. But yeah, man, doing good on NBA, hot in college. Still just. I mean, man, I'll be honest. I feel like I'm literally melting. I'm just like losing weight so fast right now from running and all that, and I feel like it all just ties together. It's just this huge life eater that's hitting. Whether it be Pick Central or after dinner Mintz or the late loss or the gambling, it's just all like snowballing together in the best way. And man, I'm just trying to hold on tight and enjoy the ride.
What's next? What do they have? What do they have you thinking for next big project?
Well, okay, so a lot of stuff. One thing that's interesting is Barstool hasn't really done a lot with college baseball, and now that they're kind of we're getting a little more of a South element up there. I'm going to try to do some stuff with that, especially coming out of March Madness, just to kind of take that element because it's like an untapped gold mine when you look at, especially with my ties, obviously to Ole Miss, but not just to Ole Miss. Obviously LSU, and you look at Arkansas fan base, and even Mississippi State, and the state of Texas, and SEC. I think that could do well. But in the meantime, I'm trying to get out trying to get out west to go to Blackhawk, Colorado. Because Penn Gaming, who we're partnered with, owns the Ameristar Blackhawk. We got a new $1 billion sports book there. I'm trying to get out there for March Madness with Playboy Marty to do some content. Let's see. I'm going to keep hosting. I'm still hosting Pick Central, still doing After Dinner Mintz. Down the line, there's a lot of stuff. When I'm not sure what Baton Rouge is like right now. But man, feeling some positivity on this COVID situation. Yeah. I saw Louisiana lifted some phase restrictions. Mississippi and Texas lifted everything. I mean, I think a lot of really, really good times are coming in the not too distant future. And the biggest thing for me is looking forward to, I think this thing's really going to explode when me and Playboy Marty can get on the road and take this thing all over America. When I can get back to Louisiana and Mississippi and then, like I said, get out to Colorado or go to Vegas or just all kinds of stuff. I think when I get on the road with the video element we're going to bring, we're going to take this thing to the good people of America. And I think that we really may land on the moon here.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely, baby. We landed on the moon. It does feel like things are trending in a direction where society is trying to get back to normal, at least down here in the South. You mentioned Texas and Mississippi lifting the regulations and restrictions earlier this week, and Louisiana moving to a 50% or to a phase 3. What are the feelings up there in New York? Because I know that New York was very much affected by what was happening at when this started a year ago.
Yeah, so it was weird because it was ironic because obviously I was, when it started a year ago.
Right.
It was just started a year. By the way, I'm hitting the 1 year anniversary of me getting let go in Bossier next week too. So that's on my mind. We're gonna do some fun stuff. We're gonna do some fun stuff with that. Couldn't cut it in Bossier, but can do it at Barstool Sports. No, so New York, I think they're starting to slowly lift restrictions. I think they're at 35% on restaurants now. I mean, obviously New York, we're not going to get to the political stuff, but New York's obviously, been very careful about all this because they got lit up so much at the beginning. I think the vibes are it's getting better slowly. The weather's getting warmer. And I think by summer, things ought to be getting pretty good. I love what I'm hearing about the fall. All the Ole Miss has already announced all the students, back with all regular classes, and then, all the SEC schools saying full stadiums. And, I just feel like it's one of those things, man. We just got to be patient maybe for another couple months. But good, man. It's gonna good times are coming and on the way. And so I'm just gonna keep during this meantime. This is an awesome time to focus on self improvement. Which is what I'm doing because when this thing comes full bore back and we can hit the road, man. Just like I said, sky's the limit.
I am in, baby. Are there good vibes around the Knicks right now?
Yeah, so the New York thing's funny. Man, these people, the Knicks got to 500 the other day, and there are videos of people like dancing in the street, and because they've been so bad for so long, and it sparks an interesting commentary because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, y'all are jokes celebrating when you get to 500. Blah, blah, blah. But, man, the hell with those people, you know?
Right.
Like, I mean, I guess I'm saying this because I'm Ole Miss ties and, like, we don't necessarily win all the time. But, man, sports are supposed to be fun, you know? And if people are supporting teams that suck year after year and want to enjoy themselves and they get to 500 and finally get a taste of victory, well, God bless, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not fun when you're pulling for a team that gets the crap kicked out of them year in, year out. You're allowed to, you know, we can't all be Alabama or New England Tom Brady Patriots and just compete for championships every year like it's nothing. So, yeah, the vibes are real high for the Knicks thing up here. People are pumped, and you know it's good to see. You can see it. You can kind of see it. We got a lot of Knicks fans in the office, and this is the most excited they say they've been in years.
Scary story with Aaron Boone, huh? As Boone,
they're putting a pacemaker in.
Yeah, it was reported yesterday. The team said that Boone underwent surgery on Wednesday to have a pacemaker placed in, and of course Aaron Boone is the manager of the New York Yankees. He had open heart surgery in 2009. How's the city reacting to that news?
Well, yeah, I saw it yesterday. I think it was a big surprise. This is definitely, I mean, it's obviously Yankees first, and I think people were just kind of more just surprised by it. But man, it's kind of a scary thing to say, but we've learned anything in this last year. The mortality thing for all of us is, you know, I think people are starting to realize that every day is a gift, and you know, it's kind of crazy how, I don't know, nothing's guaranteed as far as all that goes. I think people are still just kind of surprised and recovering, and just hope he can recover. But it's kind of a newer story, and so I hadn't heard any more.
The LSU baseball team is off to a nice 9-game start, but we were talking to Jacques Doucet in hour number 1 about, you know, this team looks like it fits. It fits and checks all the boxes as far as what they could accomplish going into the season. But then you look around and the SEC West is just loaded. Ole Miss is one of the highest ranked teams. What do you like about Bianco's squad this year?
Oh man, I love the one Doug McKaysey and Gunnar Hoglund, the 1-2 pitching staff. Our top 2 pitchers are really, really good. I love those guys. Lineup seems pretty deep. I mean, so they Ole Miss tore up this Texas tournament where they went 3-0 against top 10 Big 12 teams the first weekend, beating TCU and Texas Tech and Texas. But then it got them up to number 1. And, you know, I mean, first of all, seeing the number 1 by Ole Miss in school is not something I don't think I've ever seen it,
right.
to be honest. And I think maybe the Rebels had trouble with it too because they lost 2 out of 3 at home to Central Florida. So maybe that's for the best. It's early season baseball. But I feel really good about this team. They bounced back with a couple midweek wins this week. Funny you mentioned it, Jordy. So I've got my next trip to the South is going to be LSU's at Ole Miss, April 22nd to 24th at Swayze Field in Oxford. I'm going to get back for that. They opened up restrictions on seating on that. And then that's the Grove Bowl, the spring game, too. So I'm going to see if I can do something with that, too, with Lane and the boys. But I look forward to that. On the LSU front, man, it's Dylan Cruz. It's no joke. He's a superstar freshman. And then I feel like Blake Money, the reliever, I mean, is he like Kenny Powers' long-lost son or something?
He puts off great Powers vibes, bro. I mean,
and the name, too. I mean, like, Playboy Marty is obsessed with him. And, like, all of his Blake Money's family and Blake are, like, following Playboy Marty, and he's all pumped about it. I think he's going to be, like, a new cult hero.
We're going to do a vibes bracket for March that you can vote on, and Money right now is a 1 seed.
Oh, he's got to be. Like Money in the Bank. I mean, and he's good. He did over 4 innings, I saw the other day.
No, I think LSU, yesterday.
It's good to see this freshman class doing so well. And, you know, because I feel like LSU baseball, it's funny because I feel like I've seen the same season like every year under Maneri for 10 years. It's like early on in the year, they usually kind of struggle and start off a little slow during non-conference. They'll lose some midweek games. The fans will get a little unsettled. And then, like, they'll be like 8-7 in the SEC halfway through, and then they just turn on the gas every year in, like, mid-April. And the next thing you know, they're making a deep run, if not winning the SEC tourney, and then they make some kind of run in the NCAA tourney. It's like funny because I just feel like I've seen that same season over and over and over again.
Mintzy, what's coming up on Barstool? What you got coming out from a content standpoint?
Oh, so right now airing, this thing that's really cool is we've got this trivia show called The Dozen Trivia that Jeff D. Lowe runs, and it's airing right now on our YouTube. I'm on a team with Robbie Fox, who covers like UFC for us, and Mick Coley. We're up against Brandon Walker and PFT commenter and Fran, and this is already a tape match, but it's quite entertaining. And I guess it's aired now, so spoil it. But we're the big screaming honkers. We made an insane comeback to beat Walker, and so we were a big underdog in it. So that was a lot of fun. That's up on YouTube now. I'm hosting Pick Central at 11:55 Eastern today. There'll be some after dinner minutes, and hopefully keep these winning. I mean, this basketball pick thing, Jordy, I went 22-6 last week.
Good
which
Lord.
I don't think I've ever done. I saw somebody tracking on the internet. I think I was like number 2 on the whole internet last week.
Jesus,
Hater.
Man's living
yeah, and
good.
I was just like laughing because, like, I mean, I'm telling you, I couldn't get these damn things away 2 weeks ago.
Who you like tonight?
But yeah, man, it's going to keep this momentum rolling. And, like I said, the biggest thing, looking forward to getting out these 10 properties. Yeah. Obviously, LaBerge and Baton Rouge is one of them. Big date I'm looking forward to, too, I want to mention on the show. April 12th is when the legislative session starts back in Baton Rouge to get the sports gambling thing through. My buddy, the best guess I've heard, I don't know if it's going to get through by fall. I'm hearing January 1. Louisiana, as always, just ridiculous when it comes to anything political.
Yep.
But the big thing that's on the legislative thing is whether the mobile app is going to get passed. Because, they're going to be able to bet in sports books, and we already know that. But it's a big deal whether they're going to be able to get the phone app passed. And so that actually,
you got to fight these video poker. You got to fight these video poker politicos.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's crazy. I just want to see, it just would be really good if you could, I mean, dude, especially after coming out of COVID, man, people want to be able to sit on their couch and place bets, Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Not everybody wants to have to go all the way to the casino and deal with all that, especially after COVID. And I hope they can get the mobile thing passed. But when this goes down, Louisiana, Mississippi are going to be my Barstool territories with that stuff. And so, I mean, expect to see me at LaBerge, Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, Margaritaville, Bossier, Ameristar, Vicksburg. I'm gonna be doing stuff in all these sports books, and I'm gonna probably be on the road half the time, and I'll be around the South still a good bit.
Ben Mintz, you can hear him every week right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. You can also hit him on Twitter at Barstool Mintzy. A lot of content coming out of Barstool with Ben Mintz driving the ship up there. So make sure and hit him on Twitter. It's got to get old at some point, kicking Brandon Walker's ass at everything, bro.
Yeah,
take it easy.
One other thing I do want to mention, because Jordy, I remember you said you knew Kermit Davis from the time, obviously, with John Brady, who's 5 years assistant. I did a funny video trolling Kentucky yesterday on After Dinner Mint, because Ole Miss beat Kentucky in basketball finally for the first time in like 12 games. And I did like a video. I called it an ode to my old Kentucky home. And I said on behalf of the University of Mississippi, I wanted to thank Kentucky for welcoming us into the family, and like showed the Matt Corral touchdown in the video of me getting the Barstool from the Kentucky game. A video that was taped in the Garden District of Baton Rouge, by the way. I'd like to mention. And then, but anyway, I just did like a really funny video, and I mentioned Kermit. Because Kermit saw the video and just started laughing on Twitter and loved it and followed me. So I got a kick out of that. I know you've always said good things.
No, I love that. Kermit's a great coach, man. Y'all got a good one over there in Oxford right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And look, he worked. I mean, I love the job he's done this year. Ole Miss was 3-6, dead 6-2 down the stretch, and like literally has like, I don't know. They played so hard for him. I'm a huge Kermit fan. He's got a good recruiting class coming in next year. I mean, we're lucky to have him.
All right, Barstool Mintzy, Ben Mintz, every week here on the Jordy Culotta Show. See you soon, bro. Keep up the good work. All right, man. There he is, Ben Mintz, checking out. I don't know. It's always kind of a weird out. It's always kind of a weird out.
Consistency, dude. That's just
you
the way
never
you
know
roll.
if there's somebody in the room. You never know what where
he's
he
got cameras on him.
Yeah, like you
I
never
love
know
chuckling sometimes. Like,
right. All right, Danny, we're brought to you by Lanoix Insurance, LANOIX, agency.com. Get in touch with BG. Get in touch with David. Get in touch with Randy this morning if you need auto, home, or business insurance. They can help you out. Lanoix Insurance Agency, LANOIX agency.com, 749-5640. We will have our shooting tomorrow. We're shooting basketball. Sorry.
Like,
Yeah, whoa.
A little heroin.
Right.
Get
That's not where my mind went.
Giving the public a little behind the scenes meetings here at the Jordy Culotta Show. No, we'll be shooting the basketball at Sammy Willard's fat face tomorrow for giveaways here. But we need to give away a couple of more for Harper's Haberdashery, and we need to get people over to his Instagram, Nikki.
Harper's BR.
Harper's BR is where you can find them on Instagram. We'll hand away a couple of gift cards if you can prove that you have followed Harper's BR on Instagram. Give us a screenshot. Let us know that you're following Sam and Harper's Haberdashery over there, and we'll hand away $250 gift cards every Friday here as we have our jump shots inside of the undisclosed location. All right, let me catch you up on what we got going on over here. Obviously, yesterday, with the YouTube disaster and losing the channel, we have reconvened here, and what we have done is we've launched our website over at JordyCulottaShow.com. JordyCulottaShow.com is the website, and from there you should be able to link both audio and video. You should be able to watch the video there. There's a link that should drive you to the YouTube page, and then there's an audio-only link that if you hit that, you should be able to minimize your browser, close it out on your phone, and be able to listen. I know that has been one of the needs of our listeners is to be able to close out the browser and be able to work on your phone, your device while you have us playing in the background. We have confirmed that is a go, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
we've tested that.
Yeah, and it works. And if you close your phone out, you'll have like a play screen that comes up. All you have to do is hit play, and it works, man.
Yeah, so get over to the Jordy Culotta Show, or JordyCulottashow.com is the website, JordyCulottashow.com.
It's linked in the Twitter.
And, it's linked on Twitter. All of the links are there. We'd appreciate you subscribing to the new YouTube station. But like we said, you should be able to get us at JordyCulottashow.com every single day to keep up with what we have going on over here, because obviously yesterday was not good. From the sense of, trying to build up that momentum and build up that channel. But, we live and learn here on the show as we get launched and get up and moving. And now we own our content, right? Over at JordyCulottashow.com is content that can never be taken away from us, and a stream that we own. So if you get over to JordyCulottashow.com and you click there, it will be your safest bet. And from there, we will build a chat section. We will build an opportunity for us to go back and forth with our listeners, which is something that we strive to do. We will be having cool promotions like March Madness, which will be brought to you by Just Winging It, the wing joint out in Prairieville that you can stop in and be your March Madness home. We will have opportunities like that we will house on the website. So we're looking forward to it. JordyCulottashow.com. JordyCulottashow.com is the website, and from there you should be able to get everything, both the audio and video links, and keep up with what we have going on over here. Looking forward to catching up with Doug Thompson in a couple of minutes as Doug will stop by. He's here. He will be here every week talking about the LSU baseball squad. He was on both calls yesterday and was going to give us a little insight on where LSU baseball is heading into the weekend with a 3-game set versus Oral Roberts. And there are a lot of positives to take away from this group through 9 games. As yesterday, they were smashing the ball again. Trey Morgan with a walk-off winner, sac fly winner that pushed the run across against Nichols in the earlier contest. And then last night, LSU had the bats moving as they smashed 4 home runs on the way to a 16-1 win for the LSU baseball team. So we'll talk to Doug Thompson about that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Looking forward in the announcement of joining the Angel Oak team over at Angel Oak Mortgage with Matt Lanassa and Lee Gilly. If you are in the market to refinance your house, if you are in the market to buy an investment property, if you're in the market to buy a new house, remember Angel Oak. Get in touch with us over here at Angel Oak Home Mortgage. You can email me if you want at the show's website or at the show's email address. Jordy at JordyCulottaShow.com is where you can find me, and I'll put you in touch with a great team, a team of experts over at Angel Oak that can get you into a very creative loan opportunity, whether it be for a condo or whether it be for a home that you're looking to buy or an investment property. Jordy at JordyCulottaShow.com. As Coach Schlesinger inside of the bunker this morning over at UNO. Nice win for the Privateers last night, Coach, as Coach Schles and UNO basketball are gearing up here in March. We're looking forward to getting Coach Schles on this show at some point, possibly after the season. We'll get him to make a trip down here to the Undisclosed Location and get him to sit down with us for a couple of minutes. When we come back, we'll talk LSU baseball with Doug Thompson and wrap up the Jordy Culotta Show here on this Thursday, presented every day by Go Chevrolet. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers, all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the Southdown Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at rmb-builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Hey, you know it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented daily by Go Chevrolet. Stop in and see Lee Carney, that group down there with Nick Richard. If you're looking to get into a new model today or a certified pre-owned used vehicle, get in touch with Go Chevrolet, GEAUXchevrolet.com, right off the I-10 LaPlace exit. If you're heading to New Orleans, coming from New Orleans, stop in and see Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and the crew. They have used car lot coming to Baton Rouge here pretty soon, and they're on Twitter at go_Chevrolet if you want to keep up with Go Chevy, what's happening down there in LaPlace. LSU baseball looking good through the first 9 games, as yesterday able to win 2 back-to-back doubleheader, 2 9 innings, as they win in a walk-off fashion versus Nichols in Game 1. Then they come out and pound the ball last night versus Southern and put up 16 runs on 4 homers. As LSU baseball, man, through 9 games is looking pretty legit. But you look around the conference, specifically in the SEC West, and there are teams everywhere. Doug Thompson, who is on the LSU Sports Radio Network, was on the call over the weekend and was on the call yesterday, joins us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Good morning, Dougie. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How we doing on this beautiful Thursday morning?
It is a beautiful day. Yesterday was a beautiful day to be outside and playing baseball, man. It kind of felt like a little sense of normalcy for the community, seeing the Tigers out at the box. Doug, this is a very impressive group through the first 9 games, man. Has there been anything that's really jumped out to you that you say, whoa, that's this is a different group here to start off the season?
Yeah, the homers, the freshmen, and the pitching staff. I mean, there's been 21 home runs hit now through 9 games, which is, of course, a whole bunch of home runs. And the pitchers last night with the last strikeout from Mikhail Hilliard, they hit 100 strikeouts on the year compared to only 28 walks. I've called several games now where they've had a dozen plus strikeouts and 0 or 1 walk. So that'll get the job done no matter who you're playing against in whatever league. If you can somehow get ahead in the count, stay ahead, it'll give your team a chance to compete and win. And then the freshmen, I mean, how much things have changed since the opener where we thought that depth might be a problem. Now the problem for Paul Maneri is deciding which bat to put in the lineup because he has so many options, at least here through the first 10 games of the year.
Give me more Blake Money. I love this kid.
You know, I have enjoyed watching all the new freshmen. Will Helmers last night was lights out through 5 innings. Javen Coleman, I liked him in an outing, and then he struggled a little bit last night. He couldn't find his location. Paul Maneri had a quick trigger and went to the bullpen to go to Blake Money, who is just extraordinary in so many ways. I mean, he's got the look, he's got the stuff. He's kind of a larger than life guy. Reminds me a lot of Todd Peterson, plus 3 inches and about 20 more pounds. He goes with the purple and gold high top, and man, he was lights out against Nichols for 4 1/3. And I can't tell you how valuable that is for a head coach to have a guy you can send out there when it gets a little bumpy early and you have to pull a starter. So yeah, man, there's the new freshmen. Not only in the lineup, but coming out of the bullpen, there's a lot of exciting things happening. I think this is Nolan Cain's best work yet, and it's going to be a fun season to watch them all grow.
I was listening to you and Blair yesterday on the network, and Dylan Cruz was coming up, and y'all were talking about how fast of a start he was, and you were talking about how this is the alpha freshman, and just as soon as you said that, in the background, it was a ting off the bat. Next thing you know, Blair's giving a home run call again for Cruz. I mean, Doug, this kid, are you kidding me? 2 more years?
Yeah, you know what? This might be as close as we've ever been to watching a big leaguer in a purple and gold Tigers uniform. He is, 5-tool, as 5-tool as 5-tool can be. He led off a game with a double off the wall. He's led off games with homers. He made the play at third in the first inning to throw a guy out on a base hit to right field that was trying to go from first to third. The leadoff hitter, mind you, Wes Toops, who can run a little bit. It's like, what can't he do? I love him hitting in the leadoff. That's going to put him with about 20 more at-bats than anybody else in the lineup for the rest of the year. Listen, I mean, I don't really know. At least I've tried to kind of measure my words here for the first couple weeks, but this guy's got a chance to contend for every major award, got a chance to be the most highly decorated player in the history of the school. There's a good chance that after the year 2030, nobody will ever wear the number 3 again type thing, right? I mean, he's that good. So it's going to be so much fun to watch this guy hit. I mean, I literally find myself, being excited every time he walks into the batter's box because for sure he's going to get one big cut, and usually he's going to barrel that ball up. Interesting statistic. I think he's at 35 at bats, something like that right now, maybe 36. But Jordy, he's hit over 20 balls over 100 miles an hour in 36 at bats. That's just extraordinary. I mean, he is either locked in and on fire, or this is just who Dylan Cruz is. And Tiger fans are going to be very lucky to watch him play for the next 3 years.
He's batting .457 right now. After his latest, I mean,
when you square up 20 balls at over 100 miles an hour, that's what usually happens. A lot of those end up finding a lane, or usually for him over the fence. Now, look, he hit a ball last night up against the center field wall into the wind, dead center field. The center fielder had his back on the wall. He caught the ball above his head, and TrackMan actually picked that ball up at a distance of 437. But he hit it right at 405 to dead central. This ball looked like a golf ball in the night sky. He's just super electric, super fun to watch. And again, you and I are lucky, but our sons are also very lucky to be able to watch this kid, so up close for the next couple of years.
Amen. There were a lot of question marks around the left side of the infield going into the season through 9 games. What do you make of some of the options that they rolled out there?
Well, I like Jordan Thompson. I'd like him to be a little more consistent at the plate. He's got 4 hits on the year, and I think 3 of them have left the yard, which is great, but the average has got to get up over 200, 250, I think, to play third base. But defensively, I mean, he looks like a real third baseman over there. I mean, he can pick it. He had some tough hops last night. He's got a great arm. And then I think Zach Arnold has proven that he can play short. Drew Bianco's been out there the last couple games. But, again, I think that perhaps this injury to Kay Doty and to DiGiacomo early in the season maybe opened the windows of opportunity for Paul Maneri to test some other guys out. And lo and behold, he finds guys like Brody Gross, who's, batting close to 500 through, his first 15 at bats or so, and many others who are next guy up type thing, and taking every opportunity and taking advantage of it. So I just think that the depth is immense, and that Coach Maneri has plenty of options for now. Now the goal is to keep them all healthy.
2 weekends into seeing this frontline pitching, what have you made of the second weekend of action after seeing Labus, Marceau, and Hill again?
Well, other than the one outing there where I think it was Labus that had one inning where they got 7 or 8 hits in the inning. I mean, it was kind of out of nowhere. How much more dominant can they be? I mean, I think last weekend they combined to go 20 inning or 17 innings, 20 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 6 hits for the starting pitchers. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And it's a cliche. Listen, I say it all the time. You got to get ahead of hitters. You got to throw one of the first 2 pitches over the plate. But when a guy with a power arm like those 3 are able to do that, it makes things even more difficult for these amateur hitters. So those 3 guys have plenty good enough stuff to keep us in every game throughout the course of the year, even when the SEC rolls around.
I know you're very busy and you got a lot of stuff going on, whether it be keeping up with the network and keeping up with LSU baseball to make sure that you can give a good call every night. You got your stuff going on with your kids and family and jobs. Have you had a chance to look around the conference and see what the league looks like? Because for as good as LSU has looked through the first couple of weeks of the season, when you look at the standings, and I know that you have told our audience you put 0 stock in preseason rankings for college baseball, but as this thing gets up and moving, have you had a chance to make an opinion of what's going on in the SEC?
Well, I think I just noticed that Baseball America's top 4 are all SEC schools. There's still 3 undefeated teams. One of those is Kentucky. I don't think anybody really expected too much of them. But, everyone is playing very well right now, with the exception of maybe Missouri, without looking at it, Jordy, in the Eastern Division. I think Texas A&M is down at 4-3 or 3-4 on the Western side, but everyone else has a 6-2 or 5-2 or 7-1 record. There's only 3 undefeateds left: Arkansas in the Western Division and South Carolina and Kentucky on top of the Eastern Division.
Doug Thompson joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. He'll be with us every week here as we get going. You want to talk about somebody that I love the fact that little Jay can watch? Trey Morgan. Doug, I mean, Nolan was here earlier this week telling the story about his recruiting story, how AD went down to New Orleans to watch some game, and they were going, or he went and watched Enlow, the Santa Mall pitcher, the Santa Mall pitcher a couple of years back that was drafted. And Morgan was playing against him and came back and told Nolan, he's like, Coach, you got to go see Brother Martin's first baseman. I mean, this kid he needs to be playing at LSU. And next thing you know, I mean, he's getting walk-offs as a freshman as a starting first baseman.
He's got some drip. I mean, he's got some real drip over there at first base. He can really pick it. He's got incredible footwork. I mean, he almost looks too athletic to be a first baseman, but in the same breath, you can just tell by the way that he's able to pick it with that left hand. Love the left-handed throwing first baseman, but there's no fear in these freshmen. Chris and I talk about it at break, and we talk about it, Buzzy and I as well. Like, Cruz doesn't look like a freshman when he's hitting. Neither does Trey Morgan. Neither does Brody Dross. The pitchers that have gone in, Garrett Edwards and Ty Floyd, last night Blake Money, these guys don't look like freshmen. They look like seasoned sophomores, the way that they're going out there. I love the way that the new pitchers, they get the ball, they have high tempos, they're back on the rubber before the hitter can even dig back into the batter's box. And there's just no fear with all of these guys. Like I said, man, they're getting these opportunities, and when they do, they're going out there and leaving it on the field, playing with their hair on fire. And it's a really fun brand of baseball to watch, not just because of the home runs, but because of all the new faces, because the pitchers have been somewhat dominant so far. It's really just a total team effort. They've won the close ones. They've blown teams out. They've really kind of showed, put on display what they're capable of here early in the season.
Hearing some scary things about your younger team over there at Traction, Dougie.
Yeah, what's that?
I hear that they're legit.
Oh, they're good. It's a lot of fun, man.
Very defensive there, Dougie. Sorry about that.
Well, no, hey, I didn't coach them this week, so I didn't get ejected too many games. I'm wondering what the hot scoop could be over there. They did great this weekend. Both of my boys did. So blessed to be able to follow them all over the place. Yeah. Of course, I average about 10 baseball games a weekend between them and the box, and I wouldn't trade any second of it.
No, he's the best, man. Dougie, we appreciate the time, the knowledge as always. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great call in between then, and keep the Canes younger squads rolling.
Always a pleasure to call into the Rivers Huey show with Jordy Culotta. Always a pleasure.
Nice shot taken there, Dougie. Tell everybody
God
hello.
Bless y'all.
See you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right, there is Doug Thompson checking in this morning from LSU Sports, as LSU baseball will be back in action this weekend versus Oral Roberts, and a good insight there from DT9 as he brings it in here every week. That is going to do it for the Jordy Culotta Show this week. We're changing a little bit around from the stance of we got the YouTube channel back. We've got the website up and moving at jordyculottashow.com. You should be able to access both the audio and the video from those elements, which should be there for you. We'll be workshopping that and continuing to refine that to make sure that experience works out for everyone. But we also want to kind of change this format in the sense of make it more of a long conversation, long interview-based, good conversation. Really take advantage of this platform more than anything. Right? I mean, we're not backed up against any clock. We're not backed up against any hard outs. We're not backed up any network breaks that we have to take. So we want to take advantage of bringing people into the undisclosed location, bringing them on the phone to the undisclosed location. Some days we may go to 9 o'clock. Some days we may go to 9:30. Some days we may end before 9 o'clock. It's just going to kind of be the format in which we take advantage of this platform. And bring the listener good conversations, good entertainment, and good information, right? I mean, that's kind of what we want to be able to carve out here between 7 and 9 a.m. We appreciate you taking this ride and this journey with us. We understand at times it may be a little annoying and aggravating from some of the technical difficulties and some of the things that we are fighting behind the scenes. But just know that we have all of our efforts are in the right place. We want to do this, and we want to bring it to the public for entertainment value, for information, and a good experience. And we want to make sure we're refining that over here at the Jordy Culotta Show every single day. So we appreciate you for finding the new YouTube station. We appreciate you for supporting us on the merchandise. We appreciate you for downloading the website or going to the website. And figuring out how to find us and listen to us there. Remember, every single day that we have a podcast, so all of the audio that you hear here on the Jordy Culotta Show will be easily accessible to you at Spotify, on Apple, wherever you get your podcast from. RMB Builders has made sure that the audio will be available to you once we go final. So we appreciate everybody for being out there. We are brought to you daily by Johnson and Spillers Dentistry. Get in touch with Dr. Johnson and Dr. Spillers today, whether you're your child needs pediatric dentistry, or whether you need some help and need to look for a new dentist, and you want to go check out Johnson and Spillers, do that today. They got 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. If you're here in Baton Rouge, it's on Perkins Road in between Segan and Bluebonnet. Out in Gonzales, it's on Prepara Drive. So stop in and see Johnson and Spillers today, and make sure you tell them that you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show, as we will crank up at 7 o'clock every single day, compliments of Go Chevrolet, and bring you a good conversation. Tomorrow, hopefully, we can put a big fish in the boat. We've got a couple of teasers out there, and we've seen to have got a hook into the mouth of a humongous fish. But before we begin to promote it and guarantee that fish will be in the boat at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, we will just put the tease out there to make sure and come back to the Jordy Culotta Show for a Friday morning, as we hope that we've got another big fish here in the undisclosed location. Enjoy your Thursday. We appreciate everybody's support out there. Make sure that you tell everyone about the new YouTube station. Please share that, like that, comment on that. Get over to the JordyCulottaShow.com webpage, and you should be able to access both the audio and the video there. Again, thank you very much. Have a good Thursday. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.